This is Jon Layman. We'll give credit where credit is due. It's the Nerd Locker, exclusive Nerd Locker interview, Jon Layman. Let's take a look at this ball of sunshine. He made some interesting tweets where he said he wouldn't work with certain people, or he needed a political purity test before he worked with certain people, or before he worked with anyone. Because he's looking for the German socialists, I guess. Your boy covered it all well and good. But what I noticed when I went to Twitter and I looked at his tweet, and then I looked at some of the other tweets associated with him and some of the other professionals, there's no excitement for him and Richard Pace and the rest of them. He made this tweet. He says, when vetting potential collaborators for creator-owned stuff, frank conversations, political leanings is now routine. At first, the philosophy was, if you're voting, take away my health care. I will not work to put money in your pocket. Now, though, it's so much more. I guess he means post-2015, 2016. If you can justify and support the daily outrages we now see, what daily outrages? Which ones specifically? There are outrages every day. The racism, hate, and abject cruelty, you're not a person I want to associate with professionally or otherwise. What specific events are you speaking of? This is simply Trump derangement syndrome. But another thing I noticed about Layman's account, you look at it, he gets very little interaction. This got some interaction, 150, 135 likes, not bad, but not overwhelming support. Some people make comments, people who want to work with him because at least he's in the industry. Richard Pace, he says, I so hear that. Then there's the potential of finding out you collaborator is the sort of soulless scum who will join something like COMICSGATE because he sees it as a cash cow. That might be worse. Richard Pace takes an interesting photograph. Why would you publish that photograph? Do you think, is it trying to be humorous? It looks silly. It looks very, very silly for a 50-year-old man to have published a try-hard photograph like that. Anyway, cash cow? No, COMICSGATE isn't a cash cow. People are working very, very hard to sell excellent comics books. And if you want to see some of the Indiegogo campaigns, go to Comic-Con, and check them out. This is just sour grapes, I guess. He got 13 likes. Some other professionals chime in, but this guy, Nick, gives a thumbs up to life at Katie Crypt, is very funny. He has a very dry sense of humor. He says, I was at a local comic book shop looking to spend some money. The guy working was very nice, recommended some books, and Chew came up. I said, no thanks. The writer is rude to fans. I can't support him. So he didn't make a sale, and because of you, neither did the store. Sleep well. Okay, now obviously he's not literally saying Jon Layman, he wasn't going to buy Jon Layman. He wasn't going to buy Jon Layman anyway, to be fair. But Jon Layman is not doing himself any favors by saying these kind of things. Let's go to his... He's got 11,000 followers, and he posts, his posts are not getting a whole lot of interaction. 8 likes, 9 likes, 0 likes. It says, here's my schedule for San Diego Comic-Con and the rest of the year. That was 11 hours ago, and he has 0 retweets, 0 comments, and 0 likes. That is bizarre. None of his tweets are, he's a name. He says, I'd love to do more U.S. Comic Cons, but invites have slowed down. As a writer who can't sell commissions art, right, it's not economically feasible to go sell $10 books. Why do you think things have slowed down? And then he originally published his schedule, and he got 18 likes and 7 comments. Why do you think that is? It's because of this. It's because of this. Why did Kwanzaa's first book sell 100,000 and his second book sell half that? Go look at Kwanzaa's Twitter. It is the most hateful, insane, racist, anti-Trump tweets. Being anti-Trump and trying to sell a book, I think I would tone it down just a little bit. I wouldn't want to offend my customers, and you're alienating about half your customers when you go after Trump like this, like Kwanzaa does. Anyway, so I searched hashtag Comicsgate on Twitter, and this is the passion that had been missing from the other tweets. People are passionate about their comics. Here's a little teaser. What's its name? Natalie Nat the Merc. Coming soon on Indiegogo. Outlaw Nights on Indiegogo. People are passionate, and see, Outlaw Nights on Indiegogo graphic novels about their comics, because Comicsgate and Indiegogo is allowing these small people to jump in the industry that people like Jon Layman and God, who is that woman who said we will remember who voted for Trump? It's allowing these people to get well, it's not allowing them to get into the professional industry because if you're moderate or right of center, you'll never be welcome there. But it's allowing Comicsgate people to build their own industry. It is a Richard Meyer Diversity in Comics. When he got started, he was called Diversity in Comics. Now it's Comics Matter with your boy Zach, to say nothing of Luna. He started a multi-million-dollar industry, and as far as his history is going to pay attention to these things, 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it will be Richard Meyer is comic book history. He's done amazing things. This is all Comicsgate stuff. People trying to sell their books. These people are passionate about their books. And, most of anything, professional comics, I should say industry, are not great. I say 90% are mediocre, and the 10% are special, and the 1% is exceptional. I know that doesn't add up. And it's like that with Comicsgate, and it's like that with any project. Oh, this one does look really good. It is called Super Harem. It's got some very, very good art. But this is early stages. We're in the first, year of Comicsgate, I think? No, maybe the first year and a half. Yeah, I think it is the first year and a half, because I believe the first year did $2 million, over $2 million, and it looks like the second year is gearing up to probably be even more. Wart the Wizard, deaf colorist, that is, his name is Kyle Ritter. That looks great. These are all people, this industry didn't exist a few years ago. This is just, God, this is amazing. Wait. Eric Nolchowski says, going to Comic-Con this weekend. Even if you're not, I got you covered. You can still win cool prizes. Sign up for my email. Check out, extended to my Comicsgate community family. That is very interesting that he included that. That is very cool. My point is, more and more people are coming on board with Comicsgate, and I think these anti-Comicsgate are getting nervous because they see how things are going. Congratulations, Ray Cornwall. Oh, is this the Ray Cornwall? Oh, please be the Ray Cornwall. I know there's a fake out there. Wait, I don't know if this is the real him, the real Ray Cornwall, except no substitutes, comics fan and business analyst, pronouns he, him, say no to Indiegogo, 500 followers. When you follow 800 people and you have 500 followers, that's a bad ratio. You should have, for that amount, you should have, follow about 500 people and have about 1,000 people following you. It should be that ratio. Because there's a psychological trick that when people look at these numbers, they won't get into, they won't follow you. It's kind of weird, but that's what I've noticed in observing Twitter. Mike S. Miller, Indiegogo. When this started, my God, there was I remember when it started, when there was less than a dozen projects. It's this guy Comcast. He had Downcast, Sweetcast and Downcast. He had, I think, 3,000 followers when he started his project, and he got it successfully funded. And before then, kind of the rule was you're going to need several tens of thousands of followers to get funded, because only a certain percentage of the people will buy your books. But he kind of broke the mold, and he got his thing funded. People are talking about ComicsGate on Ethan Van Sciver's show, all their different projects. Just this is really exciting to see. I would love to be a fly on the wall of the Mark Waid's of the world while they discuss ComicsGate and this Comics Revolution. Yeah, that's fair. Comics Revolution. That's really what it is. This is a new channel, the Red Gaze, well, relatively new channel. He's doing very well. He's got a very professionally polished channel. So there are more and more ComicsGate channels coming up, or at least people who are, I don't know if they're hardcore ComicsGate, but it's just people who are willing to discuss ComicsGate. They're willing to discuss independent creators, even if you don't care about ComicsGate or what the issues are. I think it's fair to say most people would want to support independent comic creators. I mean, you can't really argue against that, can you? Is ComicsGate wrong? Part 4. You get 0 likes. That has got to be tempting. Let me leave it with this. This is Mike Murphy. He says, "Seen another round of anti-ComicsGate nonsense today. Listen, life is really short and precious. If you want to tell stories that matter, will last, and appeal to a broad audience, and if you agree with the tenets of ComicsGate, don't let anyone fear or shame you into poverty." Well said, Mike Murphy. Well said. Just write what you want to write, and talk to the ComicsGate people. There's a ton of money out there. Look at this. Look at this. This is amazing. There's so much money out there for good ComicsGate projects. And I'll be perfectly honest, they don't all have to be amazing. They just have to, you're going to get a lot of support on your first project simply because people like you and they like what you stand for. And that's fine. You know, your first project might be kind of rough, but it'll be okay. And, but then, you know, you really got to deliver on the second project. That's okay, because this is it's a business and it's a community, and you're gonna get a lot of support if you make the rounds, if you go on a bunch of different shows, if you do interviews. It's really important. This is all ComicsGate stuff. These are new Facebook accounts. This has just exploded. This is just unbelievable amount of support for ComicsGate. These are people who ComicsGate has given them an opportunity to follow their passion. People are passionate about comic books. Comic books has always been a dream for a lot of people, and they would never have been able to get hired at Marvel, because admittedly Marvel and DC, well, they used to have very, very high standards, but the thing is, they've gone so far left that moderates are looking at Marvel and DC and thinking, I would rather buy a comic that isn't as polished, if it's by someone who's just going to leave politics out of it. That's just, God, I'm so tired of it. Just leave the preaching, the far, far left stuff out of your comics. And you can sell a book that is, you know, still pretty rough to people because they're so desperate for content. Oh, and hey, this guy SJW Spider-Man. If you want to just have yourself a laugh, you can read some of his tweets. I think he's actually mentally ill. Okay, let me leave it with this. Ethan Van Sciver tweet. He says, "We're arriving at a historic moment in time when a $25 comic book by your boy Zach is going to outsell a $4 book by Mark Waid. This is Pete ComicsGate." And then Everett Todd comes in here and he gets dunked on. He says, "You realize that Indicron numbers aren't true sales, right? Diamond is a distributor, which means all of its sales are store to store. They don't track end consumer sales. Waid is lame, but that is not a fair comparison." Get ready for this. Ethan says, "No, it's even worse. That's Comicron. It tracks books shipped, not sold, shipped to stores through Diamond. Those are the books ordered by retailers, not the ones purchased by fans. Zach's sales are direct sales to customers. Comparing Waid's numbers to Zach's is, in this way, a favor to Waid." You follow what he's saying? It's shipping a company, a a comic book store will order, say they order one copy of a book, and for every one copy, or say for every 10 copies they order, they'll be delivered more than 10. They might be delivered double or some fractional percent. But it's bizarre to think, I ordered 10,000 books, they mailed me 15,000 or 20,000. They didn't charge me for the books, but they charged me for shipping, which obviously is very expensive. That is a bizarre industry. Anyway, there's a lot of passion for Comicsgate. It's very exciting to see, and I hope whatever happens with Mark Waid, if he wins or loses, I think Comicsgate's going to be a success even if Waid wins, and he very, very well could win. I mean, there's a long way between an accusation and a judgment. And tortious interference is, the jury could find whatever they can find. Even if Waid wins and your boy loses, well, that means your boy Zach still has two very successful campaigns, Jawbreakers and the second one, God King, and Ironsights, which is also excellent. I liked Ironsights actually even better than Jawbreakers. So your boy's going to be in the industry for a long time, and people are going to be scared of working with Waid because of they don't want any liability imparted to them, because here's the thing, just because Waid won one lawsuit, it doesn't mean he would win a second one. Anyway, 16 minutes of this. It's very exciting to see what Comicsgate has become. Anyway, like and comment, and leave a like and comment, and subscribe if you're not already subscribed.